Hi, my friends. I'm Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer, and welcome back to part two. And we're talking about the hidden astrology pattern behind every single soul pod, friend group, organization that you belong in. And it's really exciting work. Have you ever noticed that every friend group seems to have a similar cast of characters? There's a leader, there's a therapist, there's an adventurer, there's a comedian, and there's the one that disappears that comes in and out. And is that really random, right? Is it random? Your soul pod is a pod of characters that you have incarnated into, and you have multiple soul pods for the lessons that your soul incarnated to learn, right? And so there is actually an astrological blueprint to this, to the kinds of friends and groups and organizations that you attract. So welcome back. And if you haven't watched part one of this video series, I highly recommend that you go back there, watch this video, and then go back and watch my part one in this two-part series, because I introduced the concept of the friendship ecosystem, the idea that healthy friend groups are a lot like healthy forests, if you will, and every person brings this unique energy with this different gift, if you will, and a different role. And when everyone is trying to be the same, right, the ecosystem becomes unbalanced. But when you contribute your authentic strengths, the entire group becomes more resilient. And in the first video, we talked about the different archetypes, and I gave you a little bit of homework that I want you to do. And so today we're taking that idea much, much deeper. And instead of looking at friendship from a broad perspective and the compatibility of the entire friendship group, we're going to look at the astrology itself. And I'm going to give you all the different components. And so we're going to explore how your sun sign influences the role that you naturally play in the group, how your moon sign shapes the emotional energy that you bring to your friendships, and how the rising sign affects the way people experience you when you first enter the group. And this one, the golden nugget, the juicy fruit, right? The little hidden gem, the house placement of your sun and how it contributes to the whole group or soul pod collectively. So you'll begin to see why one friend naturally becomes closer to you or irritates you, and the other becomes, challenging for you. And here's the gorgeous part. Okay? We're not trying to decide who the best friend is. We are building an ecosystem, just like the nature, needs towering trees and then tiny little wildflowers and then rivers and mushrooms and bees and butterflies, right? Every friend group, every soul pod needs different personalities and different elements working together. And the magic isn't trying to become something that you're not. It's in discovering the unique role that your soul was designed to play. And how does that create the chemistry for the whole entire group? And so if you're watching, I want you to think about your own circle of friends or your family or your coworkers or the sports team that you're on. And I want you to, hopefully you've done the homework and you have gathered your group and everybody's sun, moon, rising sign and what house their sun sign sits in. And I hope so much you're enjoying this particular series, because I want you to understand your place in life. And if you want to change your place in life, think about how this whole friendship ecosystem is working inside the group, inside the totality. And the inspiration that I got by watching my daughter's really adorable friend group at the FIFA Seattle United States versus Belgium game, where we went downtown with 250,000 people, and we were really hopeful, but the United States lost. It's okay. We're actually really good losers, I think. I think we had really good sportsmanship, and I was proud of Team USA. All right. So that was my inspiration in creating this. And I do this all the time when I'm sitting with a group of people. I'm like, that's their Virgo sun. That's their Taurus rising. Oh, that's their Aquarius, right? Interacting with my 3 or 4. And Yeah, and when I'm irritated by somebody, right? And I know, oh, okay, that's their Capricorn, right? Irritating my Libra or whatever it is. I grow instant compassion for that person. I grow instant compassion because I remember what the Capricorn or what the other energy that I don't necessarily have is trying to create. And I live inside of that compassion. And so I do find that thinking like this and doing this homework and doing this exercise, if you will, really does create compassion, love, and empathy for other people. So if you like deeper astrology, going beyond the stereotypes, come study with me. I'm here every single Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, and you can live chat with me. And we explore deeper psychological soul growth and real life application, which is what today's video is going to be. It's going to be real life application of astrology that's designed to help you truly understand yourself and the people that you're involved with and the people that you love. So let's discover your role and your soul and how it naturally plays out inside your friendship ecosystem. And don't be surprised if halfway through this video you suddenly realized why you're always the mom friend, why you're always the DD, why are you always the wild one or the one that everyone calls at 2 a.m., right? Astrology has been telling the story all along. It creates curiosity. And I should say one more thing. We're going to dive into the placements. And hopefully you did your homework. So hopefully you put your person one. This is supposed to say the name of the person. So you put friend one, you put what their sun sign is, the house that their sun lives in, then you put their moon sign, and then you put their rising sign. And then you're going to put yourself in here too. And then friend two, their sun sign, the house that their sun is living in, their moon sign, their rising sign. And you'll put yourself in here as well. Okay, that's the homework, but I do want you to go watch video number 1 so you can really understand what we're doing. So inside my little but very big and important understanding of the group, the pod, the tribe, the organization, the sun always kind of speaks the loudest, right? The sun will speak the loudest, but it's not always talking. The rising sign does talk and the moon does not always talk. But I want to tell you that your soul's language is found in the sun sign. Yes. We're asking the question, why do these people feel familiar? Right? Why do I feel like an instant compatibility? I don't need a translator with this person. They're saying something that I would never say, but I love it, right? Why am I just loving this conversation? Why am I loving this interaction? Why am I having so much fun? Well, the sun recognizes the other person's soul's energy. And there is oftentimes when your two suns are compatible. And by the way, I went into what is compatible. What are compatible sun signs in my last video? So you need to go get all those compatibility and those not so compatible aspects and understandings inside of you before you can truly understand sun sign compatibility. And that's in video 1. So I want you to know that when your sun is compatible with another person's sun, so we're talking about a friendship group, and there's 5 of you, who in this friendship group is your sun compatible with as far as their sun goes? We're only talking sun to sun. So do you have a sun conjunction with them, a sun trine, or a sun sextile? These are two souls walking similar roads. And the easiest place is for two suns to be compatible. And that's when you have a fire sun with a fire sun, an earth with an earth, an air with an air, a water with an water. And also when you have your suns in trine or sextile, there is an instant familiarity. These people instinctively understands the motivation of another, not because they're identical, because they're not. And Aries is not a Sagittarius, is not a Leo, but they're trying to grow and express and be authentic in the same way. Fire signs admire courage. So automatically, if you're a fire sign, you love other fire signs' ability to take risks. And they're probably taking risks even talking to you. Earth signs admire your dependability. Air signs admire your ideas and the way in which you're conveying yourself. And water signs are admiring your emotional authenticity. And there's a quiet respect when the suns get along. Now, fire is also going to understand air because air fuels fire and fire inspires air. And together they encourage movement and optimism and possibility. And also, earth understands water, as we talked about, because the water nourishes the earth and the earth gives water structure. Yeah. So, one dreams and the other helps implement or even talk about or discuss those dreams. They recognize the dream inside of each other. And so what they bring to the soul ecosystem, if you will, the soul pod ecosystem, when the two suns connect, automatically, boom, you get two encouragers. You, boom, remind each other of who you are becoming in this world, just inside this conversation. Oh, what are you drinking? Oh, what are you drinking? Oh, is that good? That's delicious. That looks yummy. That looks fabulous. It's just encouraging energy. It can be small talk or big talk. They celebrate growth. They celebrate similarity. Oh, where do you live? Oh, I live over there. Oh, I went there. Oh, they find and build camaraderie really, really fast. They cheer each other through life's victories. They see your victory. They celebrate your victory. There is less jealousy with a sun-sun combination inside compatibility. Have you ever had a friend who believed in you more than you even believed in yourself? That's sun energy. So you might be a Sag and your closest friend is an Aries and you don't have identical personalities, but you admire each other's courage, freedom, adventure, growth, cultural awareness, right? And you naturally encourage each other to take chances. And that's why spending time together is energizing, not draining. And I really hope through this series, it's my hope that something has begun to shift inside of you. And maybe you've started to look at your friendship circle or your family or your spouse or even your spouse's family, right? If you're the in-law, maybe you've thought about your siblings, your children, your parents, your coworkers, your team, your rec team, your best friends, your friend group, right? In a different way. And I want you to start pulling up their birth charts while you watch this video so you can look. And if you haven't gotten your gorgeous natal chart, just go to shopsoulnavigation.com. My natal charts, I designed them myself. They are so gorgeous, so easy to read. I want you to laminate them. You should have yours hung on the wall. You will send it to you in an email, and then you can print off as many as you want. Laminate it. You can write on it with like dry erase marker, and then you can even frame yours. You should have yours framed. You should have everybody in your house laminated. Everybody's chart laminated so generations in the future can find them. And the ink will start to rub off if you don't laminate them. But astrology is not meant to separate people into little boxes. It's meant to help us understand why our souls have come together. And I want to help you put it together, put the information together. I want you to start looking for patterns for people that you gravitate to. And one of the biggest mistakes that I find novice astrologers or even beginning astrologers make is they're looking for the perfect chart match. Please, dear God, don't do that. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for patterns. If you have 10 people in a friend group, don't expect every single person to have matching suns. It's not going to work, but you're going to look for themes. And maybe 5 people have fire signs, 3 have fire risings, 2 have suns in fire houses. And suddenly the fire is the biggest part of the ecosystem. Maybe nobody has a Cancer sun, but every couple people have Cancer moons, right? And a 4th house sun and a Cancer rising. And now you're starting to see that this friend group is about emotional nurturing. The fire sign friend group, or fire sign emphasis, if you will, is about activation. So we're looking for the repeated archetypes. We're looking for what is this soul pod about? So what is your family soul pod ecosystem truly about? That's a sincere question. I want you to do your homework. I want you to come back here and I want you to put it into the comments. Yeah. So life is not built on, and compatibility is not built on perfect matches. It's built on meaningful patterns. So sometimes our greatest friends aren't the people that comfort us, but they're the people that remind us who we came here to be. Some of our best friends are here to hold us accountable. Okay, so now we talked about sun-sun compatibility. Now I want to talk about sun-moon compatibility. Now, this is very sweet, but it's not as loud as the sun-sun compatibility. I do think this is really endearing and lovely, but this pairing is it's beautiful because they're speaking kind of saying the same thing, but speaking in different languages. So the sun person is asking the moon person, where are you going? And the moon person is asking the sun person, how are you feeling? And I would love for you to be able to, if you are the sun person, to ask the moon person what they really want to be asked by you. And that is, how are you feeling? And and vice versa, if you're the moon person, and I want you to ask the sun person, where are you going? Right? Speak in the other's language. And when these two understand each other, the relationship deepens. And it's not just about, oh, I'm going here. Where are you going? That's two suns talking to each other. But it's, how do you feel about where are you going? Right now it's deep. And the sun person naturally appreciates the moon person's emotional world. And the moon person instinctively believes in the sun person's journey. Isn't that gorgeous? Is that not gorgeous? So who in your family, in your friend group, or with your coworkers, do you have a sun moon harmonious combination with? And again, I want you to memorize what those are. Those are conjunctions, those are trines, and those are sextiles. And I talk about them in that last video. But think about how this combination brings nourishment to the conversation. Nourishment from the moon and inspiration from the sun. How powerful is that? How powerful is that, right? So one person says, I believe in your dream. And the other person quietly replies, and I'll make sure you don't lose yourself while you're chasing it. That's the moon person. The sun person brings a vision to the soul pod, and the moon person brings the emotional nurturance and care that the soul pod or the sun person needs for the vision. So the sun person helps everyone in the soul pod, hey, remember the destination. And the moon person remembers, hey, let's care for one another while we're on this journey together. It's very family oriented, isn't it? One keeps the group moving, the other keeps the group connected. Does your family work like this? Do your coworkers work like this? Are you on a team? Are you in a group of people that works like this? I'll give you an example. Imagine somebody with an Aries sun and a friend in the friend group has a Leo moon. Even if their personalities are really different, the emotional needs of the moon person naturally are going to resonate with the sun person. And one is going to feel inspired and the other is going to feel understood. The strongest relationships don't just support your goal, they protect your heart while you're pursuing your goal. Okay, let's talk now. Let's talk now about when you have a sun person compatible with another person in the soul pod, rising sign. So my sun and your rising sign. Now this is electrifying. This is when your life purpose recognizes somebody's way of showing up and moving through life. This is somebody who gets you at hello. This is somebody who probably is not jealous of your power. This is somebody who promotes and celebrates your power. This is somebody who says, I like the way you look. I like the way you say hi. I love your first impression. I love your first impression every time I see you. I love your style. I love your energy. I love your smile. I love the way you show up. Thank you for bringing me, I don't know, the flowers at the dinner party. Thank you for showing up with, it's like an energetic gift. Just like you say hello the way my soul wants to be, right? This person hugs you or doesn't hug you based on what your soul wants. Like the rising sign person delivers the goods to the sun sign person. This might be my very favorite, honestly. This might be my very favorite because there's so much energy in it. It's just like, you just freaking get me. This is how somebody enters the world, but enters your life. And this is somebody's hello every single time they see you. It's their style, it's their approach, it's their natural rhythm. And the sun person notices that rising sign person's rhythm. And it's the rising sign person isn't even trying. They're just being them, right? And the sun person is like, God, I love the way this person shows up. They just get me. Like, for example, if I'm late and the person who has my sun sign as their rising sign, they're like, I forgive you. Life is busy. I'm just like, God, you're so freaking cool. Thank you. Thank you for understanding that I wasn't trying to be rude or insensitive, right? And the rising person oftentimes also feels so appreciated simply for just showing up and being themselves, not because they've even accomplished anything, not because they've even proven themselves. It's just their way of engaging with life feels good. It feels right. This creates instant likability. So I want you to go back. I want you to go back to this. I want you to see the rising sign. Who has their rising sign as your sun sign? Because you're just going to think that person is so easy on your nerves, most likely. I bet you anything. Now, we do have a whole chart, right? And there are 40,000 things in a chart. So I should put that as a caveat. This isn't proven like 1000% accurate, but this is usually a really, really good marker. This usually works. Now, I will tell you, when I was working at the Augusta Ballet, one of the ladies on the board of directors, she had 7 planets, or no, she had 4 planets in Libra. And hold on one second. And they were all on my moon sign. And to this day, she was one of the worst people I have ever met in my life. She was not healthy. And her sun was on my moon and on and on. But guess what else? Her Mercury was on my moon and so was her Mars. So she always had to be right. She was combative. She was angry. She picked on me and my little moon didn't know what to do with it. So if you've got a Mars or a Mercury or a Pluto or Uranus, also it could eclipse this formula. Okay. So I should say that. Like, this woman was so combative. It wouldn't matter what I said. She was going to argue with me and be devil's advocate. She was so the dark side of Libra that my little moon couldn't deal. It couldn't tolerate it. I was just squashed. So I'm really only talking about these combinations. So if you have like Saturn or Mars or Uranus or Neptune or Pluto also simultaneously, playing with all of this, it's going to create something different. It is. And those malefics can squash and they can hurt. They can squash and they can hurt. So you do have to take that into consideration. So if you're like, Meredith, I did this whole thing and it didn't work, and this is my arch nemesis, this person I hate so much. Well, you got to go look at what their Saturn, Mars, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune is also doing in your chart, because that just tells us the story is much bigger than this sweet little formula. But this formula is so fun, especially for first impressions. So if you don't have any malefics, if you don't have their malefics on your rising sign and you just have a good sun and a good rising sign in them, or vice versa, the sun is going to provide direction and the rising sign is going to create fireworks and momentum. And it's like the two of you are probably natural leaders inside the larger ecosystem of the friendship group or the family. One carries the vision, the sun, and the rising sign person opens up the door and finds opportunities. Yes, 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 yes. It's easier as a team when you've got a person whose rising sign gets your soul. You guys are better together than apart, usually. That's how it feels, at least. And sometimes we don't just admire someone for what they've accomplished. We actually admire the grace in which they walk through the world. Or haven't you sometimes just been seduced by the tone in which a person speaks to you? Like, wow, they put their phone down and they're totally engaged, right? Now let's talk about the sun with the person's sun in the natural zodiacal house of your sun sign. Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about the sun and the other person's house of their sun sign, or vice versa. It could be your house of your sun sign and their sun. This is hidden compatibility. This you're not going to find anywhere in a book. You're not going to find this on the internet. You're just not going to find this. This is like a little golden raw treasure for you. Okay, this is just a treasure treat for you. So I want to show you one of my favorite observations, and I love this, and most people miss this. And I've only found this out to be true by being wrong about someone. For example, I'm like, oh, you're a Sagittarius. And they're like, no, I'm not. I'm a Cancer. And I'm like, let me see your chart. And then I'm like, oh, well, your sun's in the ninth house. Yeah, you're like a Sagittarius. So I saw the house, but not the sign of their sun, right? So the sun is not only expressed through your zodiac sign, it's also expressed through the house in which it lives. And every house carries the natural flavor of the natural zodiacal wheel. And this creates hidden compatibility. And so if you're wrong about someone's sun sign, go look at their chart and see if you were not wrong about the house. So let's say your sun is in Taurus. At first glance, you might think that your strongest connection would always be, with all the earth signs. Like, oh, I'm going to get along with Capricorn and Virgo. But let's say your sun again is in the ninth house. Well, the ninth house naturally is in the natural zodiacal wheel, Sagittarius's energy, Sagittarius's natural house. So this now means that your soul is learning through diversity, cultural diversity, travel, teaching, wisdom, big questions, being your best self, dreaming, inspiration, adventure, a belief system. And so when you meet someone also with a Sagittarius sun, even though you're a Taurus or a Sagittarius moon or a Sagittarius rising, now you are so compatible. They feel so exciting, so rich, so fun. And it's not because your sun signs match, but because your soul is already walking a Sagittarius path through the ninth house, and the reverse is true as well. You automatically have a gravitational pull, a lure. It's seductive to you. You feel this camaraderie, this support. And someone with a Sagittarius sun in the second house might surprisingly feel connected to Taurus themes because their life purpose is unfolding through the natural landscape of the second house, which is Taurus's house. So the order of the zodiac, right? The natural zodiacal wheel goes, first house is Aries, right? So even if you have Scorpio there, if you have a Scorpio sun in the first house, you have an Aries gravitational pull. The second house is Taurus. The third house is Gemini, right? This is the natural zodiacal wheel, and it goes in order of the zodiac. The fourth house is Cancer. The fifth house is Leo. The sixth house is Virgo. Seventh house, Libra. Eighth house, Scorpio. Ninth house, Sagittarius. 10th house, Capricorn. 11th house, Aquarius. And 12th house, Pisces. And so this house matters. And you're going to have that secondary hidden influence, and you're going to bring that house influence into your soul pod ecosystem. And this pairing often creates quiet recognition. So, for example, my husband and I have different sun signs, but we both have our suns in the same exact house. He has the same exact house in his chart, his sun, that my sun is in my chart. And so we live in that house, and there's deep, deep, deep companionship because of it. And we're not similar on the surface, but we instinctively understand each other's journey. And there's deep friendship that comes with that. And the soul recognizes that more than personalities, it recognizes the shared journey in life, right? And so you guys are walking through the same theme, the same storybook, the same chapter in life, if you will. So before we move into the moon combinations, I want you to go back to the list that you made, and I want you to start looking for repeated themes and notice the compatible elements, and then put a comment. And everybody, will you comment on other people's comments? Because that's how we learn. And don't force judgment. Just find the compatibility themes, and let's just see how it manifests, because it's so exciting when you look at the group in the collective ecosystem. I just love that. I just love doing this. And when I saw my daughter's friends all interacting yesterday, and they're all like, I'm Sagittarius, I'm ninth house, I'm Scorpio moon, I'm Capricorn, I'm Libra rising, I'm Libra moon, I'm Libra rising. I'm just like, oh my God, you guys are best friends. And my daughter Lauren was like, Mom, these are the best friends in the world. And I love these girls. I love these girls. They're like my other daughters. And it's funny because my chart is compatible with all of them too. And so I really, really love them. And that made me realize that I need to teach this little technique that I do all the time. And so if today's lesson has opened your eyes to how much deeper, compatibility really is, imagine what happens when we look at the two complete birth charts side by side. And that's what I do in my romantic compatibility report that I want you to get. We not only explore like the compatibility around attraction and communication and emotional needs and long-term growth, but we look at the compatibility in the totality. This is just kind of not a parlor trick. It's deeper than that. But this is just kind of an exercise that you can do without deep aspects, without orbs, without, Mars and Pluto and all the planets, just something that you can do just really, really easily. Like you can see the main core of the expression of your group. And it's really, really fascinating to do. So all you have to do is go to shopsoulnavigation.com and you can click on this. It is the romantic compatibility report. Isn't it cute? Isn't this cute? Lydia made this for me. And it really does show you kind of the challenges. And I like knowing about the challenges, like what's difficult and what is very, very easy inside your romantic relationship. And you just have to send us both people's information to teamsoulnavigation.com. We've got it all right here. And it's just $29. And it is so, so insightful. And if you want to learn how to just do this yourself and not get a report, but really go deep into really understanding how to peel the onion and learn deep astrology, come learn with me at the Athena Academy of Astrology. Our students don't just memorize meanings. They learn to see living patterns that connect people, families, communities, themselves. And it is just so deep. It is so riveting. And you can come join any day, any year, anytime, any place. You can do the self-paced study and you get the links for life. And then you can dive in live whenever you can make a class or not. You don't have to. Anyways, it's a blast. Come check it out. Shopsoulnavigation.com. Just click on the Athena Academy of Astrology. Now let's talk about the moon combinations. These are the connections that create emotional safety, lasting bonds, and the beautiful feeling of finally being understood without having to explain yourself. I have people in my life, I'm not kidding, that genuinely misunderstand me. Like, I am speaking English and I am nothing but kind. And you misinterpret that as something completely different. And I'm just baffled by it. Well, go look at your moon sign. Go look at your rising sign. Go look at your sun sign compatibility. I bet you have something very challenging and very difficult with that other person. And it is profound. And when I figured out, okay, this is why, their moon squares my sun, squares my, I started to reshape and get less offended, to tell you the truth, and just come from compassion and just come from a place of empathy and even sympathy sometimes. Made me less defensive. Like, you know what, Meredith? They're never going to get you. They're never going to get you. Like, you're way over the top. You're way excessive for this person. They don't trust happiness. They do not trust your childlike glee. They don't. They can't relate to that. Their life is all business or whatever it is, right? And so it almost just allows me to go, okay. And I don't have to dumb myself down because we operate differently, right? Right? And the sun is like saying, can I be myself around you? Can I laugh too loud? Can I cry too big? Can I tell you my fears? Can I make mistakes? Can I disappoint you? Can I simply just be me? Right? And the moon is asking constantly, is it safe to come out behind my rising sign? Is it safe to show my soul? Is it safe to show my heart? And when the two moons recognize one another, something really beautiful happens. It's very difficult to not fall in love with your own moon sign. unless one of the people is just super unhealthy, and you could be the unhealthy person. I doubt it because you're here learning astrology with me. But when two people share moon signs in the same element, that's called a conjunction. Um, they just have the same emotional lens. They don't necessarily react the same way, but they do understand why the person feels the way they feel. This creates something incredibly precious. They don't even need an explanation. They just simply can say, I know, I get it. And these are the friendships where one person says, I'm fine. And the other person says, no, you're not. Because they recognize the emotional weather before anybody else even notices that there's clouds. That's moon compatibility. I remember last year, my mom gave me a little tea towel, like a dish towel. And the same, oh no, I bought this in Charleston. I bought this for myself, actually. My mom always buys me a little funny saying, but this one I got for myself, and it said, it was so funny. I laughed so hard. It was, it's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Like the whole tea towel is lying, right? It's so funny. Anyways, that's like the moon sign compatibility is like, I can clearly see you're not. And it's like the moon people inside the soul pod ecosystem are the emotional caretakers of the group. They create the belonging. They notice when somebody feels left out. They remember the birthdays. They bring the soup when you're sick. They send the text that says, I've been thinking about you. Are you okay? And every healthy soul pod ecosystem needs somebody to have a moon sign connection to hold it together. Without the moon, it doesn't stick together. It does not, it has no heart. So have you ever been in a friendship group? I have, where you just did stuff together, but there was no heart, there was no glue. Without the moon compatibility, the group loses its heart. So imagine somebody with a Pisces moon and there's another person in the group with a Cancer moon. You know, they're the glue. It's like they have the emotional language that they're going to contribute to the group. And I will also say sometimes the deepest friendships aren't built because two people are alike. It's built because the two people's hearts feel understood. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It's like, I just feel understood. We're not alike at all, but I feel welcomed. The moon sign compatibility creates feeling welcomed. So what about when one person's moon sign, right, is in a harmonious aspect, a conjunction, that's the strongest, a sextile or a trine with somebody else's rising sign. This is like one of my very, 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 very favorite combinations. Oh my God. Oh my God. The moon sign is not responding to someone's purpose. They're responding to someone's presence. The rising sign is how the person says hello and just naturally enters the world. The first impression, their rhythm, right? Their social personality. And when your moon sign meets someone's rising sign, the moon and the rising, they just immediately relax. You just feel comfortable. The conversation is effortless. The silence is not awkward. You don't have to impress. You just feel accepted and welcomed. And the rising sign person has no idea that they're even creating this for the moon sign person and vice versa. They're just being themselves. The rising sign opens the door and the moon sign person makes you feel like home. And together, those two people are probably holding the space. So I want you to go back to your little sheet and see who in your family, who in your group, who in your tribe, who in your pod, who at your social, your whatever, social bingo night, your church group, your whatever, has the moon and who has the rising. Now you can only know the rising if you have their birth time. So you have to go around and ask the awkward question. But this becomes the emotional center of the group usually. It's kind of like a Taurus moon person might feel really grounded by a Virgo rising or a Cancer rising or a Pisces rising. A Sagittarius moon is going to naturally be more relaxed and can be themselves, loud and obnoxious, if you will, around an Aries rising or a Leo rising or an Aquarius rising or a Libra rising, right? An Aquarius moon is going to appreciate a Gemini rising or a Libra rising. And these just create like feelings from the very beginning of, I get you, I like you. And sometimes home is not a place. Sometimes home is a person whose energy allows your heart to be relaxed. So, what about the moon sign with the house of the moon sign is the same as the house of the sun persons? Let me explain. You remember the natural zodiacal wheel, right? So, again, it's more subtle, but the house where someone's sun lives tells us where their soul wants to grow. It reveals the arena of life that is most radiant. It is the house that is most illuminated. The house in which your sun lives in is the house with a big old splash, way more so than your moon sign house. So I'm talking about the sun, your sun sign's house. And that house, the natural sign, in the natural zodiacal wheel. So when your moon recognizes that house, something gorgeous happens. Your heart just naturally supports their journey. So imagine someone with a Cancer moon, and then they meet a person whose sun, doesn't matter if it's Leo or Aquarius or Scorpio, but it's in the fourth house. Well, that's Cancer's natural house. So there is I get you. The moon immediately understands the importance of that sun person's life. They understand the importance of that sun person's family, roots, emotional belonging. Or maybe you have a Sagittarius moon, and then the other person's sun lives in the ninth house. Without even trying, the moon person is encouraging that sun person. Again, it doesn't matter if the sun is in Capricorn, it's in the ninth house. You understand their desire to learn, their curiosity to travel and teach and grow, and your emotions naturally nourish the place where this soul, this sun sign person's life, soul, is trying to shine. Think about how beautiful that is. It's so welcoming. You become somebody who believes in their journey, not because you have to, but because your heart instinctively understands where their soul is going. And the moon sign person becomes the group's encourager and wants to even protect the dream. And you create an emotional resilience for your little soul pod. Love does not always look like grand gestures. Sometimes it just loves quietly and whispers, keep on going. I believe in who you're becoming. And as you begin to observe your families, your friendships, your work teams, your soccer team, if you will, pay attention to that moon energy, because this group usually has somebody who naturally notices the feelings of the group collectively and individually. And they probably relieve the tensions in the group. The strongest leaders are not always the loudest voices. They're not always the sun sign people. Oftentimes, they're the moon sign people doing the work behind the scenes. And oftentimes the moon people and the people who have compatible moon connections, they're holding the whole group together with love. So go back to your chart list, focus on the moons, who shares the elements, who has the compatible elements, whose rising sign seems to soothe your moon, whose sun's house feels emotionally familiar, whose sun lights up your heart, and write those names down. Who in that group makes you feel emotionally safe simply by just being themselves, right? Okay, now we got to talk about rising sign and rising sign. Okay, so this is just really exciting. When two people approach life the same way or in a similar way. So this is either going to be just the same sign or a trine or a sextile. This is one of like the easiest forms to compatibility, like the easiest ways to recognize compatibility, because not only if you have the same rising sign, your entire chart, every single domain, every single house is probably going to have the same signs in it. So all 12 houses are operating the same way. So the number one most compatible element or formula or trick or technique in astrology is if you and another person have the same exact rising sign. And if it's close in degree, your whole entire wheel is going to be the exact same. All 12 houses are probably going to have the same exact signs. Now, secondarily, a sextile or a trine to your rising sign is going to be incredible too. And these people don't necessarily have the same dreams or the same emotions, but they have a similar rhythm. They understand each other. They solve problems similarly. They approach strangers similarly. They laugh at the same things. They travel similarly. They handle awkward moments similarly. It's really difficult to not like your own rising sign in another person, but look for people who will trine your rising. So that's like the same element. So fire signs, earth signs, air signs, water signs, right? Or sextiles. And sometimes you don't even notice that you're compatible because it's just so natural. And these people are oftentimes the social glue, the logistic, the person who does the cooking or does the logistics, the organizers, the planners, the, hey, let's go paint pottery. Hey, let's go to this. Yeah. This is the people organizing the social calendar and the social agenda and helps other people feel really included. And they oftentimes establish the social tone of the group. They plan the activities. So like 2 fire risings, right? It could be a Leo rising and Aries rising. The room automatically feels energetic, more playful, more courageous, more adventurous, exciting. Imagine 2 earth risings, Taurus and Capricorn, without even saying a word. Everybody feels more grounded, more dependable, more practical. Every rising sign kind of changes the atmosphere of the room, if you will. So some people don't just enter a room, they change the climate, right? So think about your rising sign, and I want you to look at your little sheet. And who do you have a compatible rising sign with? For example, my rising sign is not compatible necessarily with my mom. It doesn't mean we dislike each other, but I am definitely by far the social entertainer, and she is the emotional glue. She has an emotional warmth about her her hello, and I am definitely having a more entertaining hello, and she is very calm and you just melt into her arms. And with me, I'm going to answer the door probably with music on, and it's going to be a little more like fireworks and fun. Like the fun has started. We're in the back, we're in the back playing. Come on. And at my mom's hello, it's just going to be a heart melt. Right. So I want you to think about it. It doesn't mean we're not compatible, and we do have a shared language and we do have a shared goal for other reasons. But we approach the initiation, if you will, the initial hello very differently. So let's talk about the rising sign and the house of the sun. Okay. When someone's personality supports your soul's journey or purpose. So this is one of my favorite, they're all my favorite, right? But I love this hidden combination. And that is the house of the sun shows where your soul most wants to shine. And it reveals the stage in which your life purpose is playing itself out on. And when another person's rising sign naturally resonates with that house, something absolutely gorgeous, stupendable, fantastic, charismatic happens. There's chemistry. And so look at in this soul group whose rising sign, right, fits which house your sun sign is in, because their personality is going to support your journey. Imagine your sun is living in the 3rd house. You like communication. Your soul wants to communicate, learn, teach. It wants to go on journeys. It wants to explore. It's curious, right? Well, guess what? You're going to love a Gemini rising, and it's going to feel wonderful. It's going to be filled with wonder and curiosity, and it's going to exaggerate curiosity inside the soul group. Perhaps your sun lives in the 10th house. Well, guess what? You're going to love Capricorn risings, not because your charts are identical, but because they're speaking the same archetypal language. Your purpose in life feels supported. It feels seen. It feels not forced. And so the rising sign opens opportunities. The sun house gives the opportunities direction. So one person says, let's go. And the other knows actually where go actually means. Like they know what let's go. They know what that means. Like, let's do it. Right? Together they create momentum. It's absolutely adorable. And sometimes people who change our lives aren't always pushing us. They're simply just walking beside us in the same exact direction. It's so stinking sweet. Okay, we got to talk about, I just want to reiterate this one, the house of the sun and the house of the sun, okay? So it's not just necessarily the same house. Like I was giving the example of my husband and I, we both have our sons in the same exact house in our own individual charts. But this is the recognition between two souls. And this is the combination that almost every single person overlooks. Again, you're not going to find this in a book. You're not going to probably find this on the internet. And I really want you to know it. And if you've stayed this long, I want you to let me know, because I want to give you a big giant I love you. I do. And I want you to know it means the world to me that you're here learning with me, because I love teaching you if you can't tell. So if you have stayed, I just want you to say, I stayed for like the double house, right? The double house technique. The house of your son and the house of their son. So sometimes people look completely different astrologically, different sun signs, different moon signs, different rising signs, yet their sons are living in compatible houses, which means their souls are learning through similar life experiences. So compatible houses are the first house and the third house, the first house and the fifth house, the first house and the ninth house, the first house and the 11th house. I'll try to run through all of them for you so you have them. The second house and the fourth house, the second house and the sixth house, the second house and the 10th house, and the second house and the 12th house. Also, the third house, if your sun is in the third house, again, the first house, the fifth house, the seventh house, the 11th house, and the fourth house. If your sun is in the fourth house, you like the second house, you like the sixth house, you like the eighth house, you like the 12th house. And if you guys don't have my aspect finder, I'm using my aspect finder just so I don't make a mistake, which I still might. But if you have a fifth house sun, you get along with the first house, the third house, other fifth house. I should also say the same house always. The fifth house, the seventh house, the ninth house, and the sixth house. You're going to get along with the second, the fourth, the sixth, the eighth, the 10th. The seventh house, you're going to get along with the third house, the fifth house, the seventh house, the ninth house, the 11th house, the eighth house. If your sun is in the eighth house, you're going to get along with the fourth house, the sixth house, the eighth house, the 10th, and the 12th. The ninth house people are going to get along with the first, the third, the fifth, the seventh, the ninth, the 11th. I feel like I cheated Scorpio, the eighth house, but I don't know if I did. I can't remember. Could make a mistake here because I'm just going fast. Capricorn, 10th house. So if you have a 10th house sun, you're going to get along with the second and the fourth and the sixth and the eighth and the 10th and the 12th. The 11th house is going to get along with the first, the third, the seventh, the ninth, and the 11th. The 11th house doesn't get along with the fifth because it is opposite. And the 12th house gets along with the second, the fourth, the 8th, and the 10th, and the 12th. Those are the combinations that feel supported, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter what sign. It does not matter what sign is in those houses. So let me give you an example. If you have a second house sun and you're looking at your soul pod and you see, oh, people here also have a second house sun or a fourth house sun or a sixth house sun or a 10th house sun or a 12th house sun. Wow, no wonder why we get along. But what if they're all in signs that are incompatible? We still are on similar journeys. Those are similar journeys. And this is the piece to astrology that is really deep and really hidden. I just want to blow open your mind so you can see this in a whole new light. There is compatibility here because you have journeys, pathways that support one another. What if one person is on a yacht and the other person's on a cruise ship and another person's in a sailboat? Well, we're all boats going to Tahiti, but you're on a yacht and you're on a sailboat and, I'm in a kayak. But I get you. I see you. I kind of feel like I know you. And it's like we understand pieces of the journey. We might be doing it differently, but it's like life has asked these souls to become intimate with the journey. We validate each other's journey. We oftentimes become incredible encouragers. Yeah, you want to know something else that's funny? Like my mom and I, going back to my mom, just because it's an example that I have memorized, our sun signs are not technically compatible. But what's funny is both of our sons, like my husband, are in the same house. Right? My daughter and I, our sun signs are not compatible, but the house in which her son lives in is the house of my sun sign. Do you see that? And that saves us. That saves us because I understand her journey. I understand why she wants to be a big adventurer. And so sometimes compatibility and love and empathy and sympathy and compassion and relationship isn't found in shared personalities, but it's found in shared life lessons. Something beautifully that I've noticed after reading thousands upon thousands, I stopped counting 7 years ago at 85,000 readings. I'm not joking, 85,000 charts. Over the last almost 30 years, I've been noticing something. Healthy groups rarely contain identical energy. Instead, they're beautifully balanced. One person carries a vision, another carries an emotional wisdom. Someone naturally breaks the tension with humor. Another person asks the deeper questions. Another person notices what's been overlooked. Another person reminds the group to keep moving this way. Every person brings a different, unique gift. And when every person is the leader, the ecosystem actually weakens. And when every person tries to be the caretaker, well, the ecosystem becomes exhausted. Too many cooks in the kitchen, right? And so when every person thinks exactly the same, the creativity disappears. The humor is lost in that. The healthiest ecosystems celebrate differences. And astrology helps us understand what each difference in the soul pod generates. So if you've been watching this series, I hope something has shifted for you. And I hope that you've stopped asking, like, if our charts aren't great, why aren't we alike or why aren't we compatible? And just start asking the question a little bit differently, like, what does this person contribute that I don't? And that's a more compassionate question because it honors the differences instead of fearing them and fearing that your differences create incompatibility. And I believe that's one of astrology's greatest gifts. Less about predicting, although we can do that too. And if you want, let me know. And more about understanding. If you like looking at relationships and understanding yourself at a deeper level and the people that you love, I would love for you to take the next step with me and come learn with me at the Athena Academy of Astrology. We will spend an entire year learning how to recognize these patterns, not just in theory, but in real charts. I'm going to teach you how to do cold readings. And then at the end of 1 year, you will get the opportunity, if you would like to become certified with the Athena Academy of Astrology. I will help you open doors to building your own astrological practice. I don't just dump you out onto the internet and say, okay, bye, good luck, right? I will help you. I will be a mentor and a support system for you. And I'll love you through your journey and your process. And that's what's a little bit different about the Athena Academy. I don't just teach you. I don't just, random teach you. I really, really try to help you grow your life and your astrology business if you want to become a practicing astrologer. Oh, also I have to tell you, Oh my gosh, people are already buying my tickets. I'm so excited. We have the best group of people coming to my Seattle workshop and retreat, May 13, 14, 15, and 16, 2027. You guys, I found a new place. Not to hold the retreat. I already have that place. It's going to be the same place. But for our meet and greet happy hour, I'm trying to secure it. And students are coming from around the world. And year after year, they tell me the same thing. They leave not only with new knowledge, but with new friends for life. Yeah, come and meet your future soul pod. Maybe you already know some of them. So I hope you'll look at your friend groups, right? And friends are fascinating because they usually just develop organically. Nobody sits down and says, let's create a balanced, soul pod ecosystem. It just happens, right? But think about your closest friends. Think about who the organizer is and what's their moon doing to your moon. And think about all the gifts that each person creates and then leave them in the comment on other people's comments because it grows the mind. Think about your families. Families are even more fascinating because you will see karmic threads. And I have an entire full day workshop called Family Tree Astrology. It is so good if you want to understand the ecosystem, your generational astrological DNA. Oh my gosh. Families come together to learn soul lessons, and you're not just sharing DNA, you're sharing astrological DNA. You're sharing the evolution. Yeah. And look at your teams and look at your groups of 3 to 5 to 10 people big so you can see the entire karmic dynamic and what you're giving to the friend group, the soul pod, the ecosystem, and what they're giving. Sometimes with family, we come together because every soul carries a different piece of the healing that is supposed to happen. And some people still carry the wounds, right? And then look at your workplaces because think about your team. Who's the natural leader? Who keeps everyone organized, right? Compare the suns and the moons and do this for fun. You be the astrologer that does the astrology workshop like this and speak about it positively when it's at work for sure about everybody's different role. And then look at a sports team that you're on. And if you're not on it, do a sports team that you admire. Like I did this one year with the Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom. And I was seeing encouragement and chemistry and true friendships. And I did this for my very favorite sports team. Think about like what creates the greatest teams. Now I want to give you one other little tiny bonus tip, and then we're going to end it here. Sometimes there's one person in the group whose chart that looks completely different. Please don't assume that they don't belong. Sometimes they are the very reason why this group is growing. Sometimes they're the very reason why the group is even together. And the different person often is the challenger, the teacher, the bridge, the innovator, the one who helps everyone else see life from a different perspective. So difference isn't always separation. Sometimes the difference is the gift. Okay. So be careful how you talk about it with your group. And never underestimate the person who brings something to the group that nobody else can. Oftentimes that soul is expanding the entire soul pod ecosystem. Here's your homework assignment, okay? And then report back in with your findings. Pick one group, maybe your family, your coworkers, your team, your favorite sports team, your church group, blah, blah, blah. Create your 4 columns, sun, moon, rising, and house of the sun. Write everybody's information down. And then I want you to try to find the hidden compatibility. And I want you to try to answer the questions. Who's the natural encourager? Who's the one that creates the emotional safety? Who creates everybody moving? Who brings the joy? Who brings the wisdom? Who brings the stability? And become curious. And I just want to reiterate, like the inspiration that I had to even build this video. I was standing there at the World Cup in this most magnificent, wondrous moment. And there was just love all around. And I was watching my daughter laugh and giggle with her friends, and her friends were so kind and so accepting of one another. And they were teasing and playing and having fun, and they were so cute with me even. And before I even asked about their charts and their rising signs, I just thought to myself, God, what a wonderful group of young women. And they're all 20 and 21. And then after I saw their charts, I realized I wasn't looking at a coincidence. I was looking at an entire ecosystem. And one person brought leadership, one person brought emotional support, one person brought adventure, one person brought a sense of humor, another brought grounded balance, another was inspiring, another was a quiet strength, another was a loud strength. Each one was different, yet together they created something none of them could have created alone. It was so beautiful. It was so inspiring. And isn't that true of life? Isn't that true of the healthiest marriages and the healthiest families and the healthiest friendships and the healthiest of communities? Because they're built on differences. And they're built on the fact that every soul was bringing something unique and every gift matters. And by the way, have you seen the healing energy that the FIFA World Cup has brought to Mexico, Canada, and the United States? And my God, we needed this unification. And wasn't this symbolic that I was seeing this inside my daughter's little friend group on the backdrop of 250,000 different people from all walks of life coming to celebrate together and accept each other in our differences? It did not matter what group you affiliated with that's different than my group. It was just all love. It was so beautiful. And so I just felt like this collective soul pod with the 250,000 people and the young women at the table were just one big, beautiful soul pod ecosystem. And it made me literally fall in love with life and fall in love with the genuine higher purpose of life. And it made me realize that there is such power inside our connection to each other. And with that, I'm going to let you go from my home here in Seattle to wherever you live in the world. I can't wait to see you again. Take good care. Bye for now.